A quiet boy in a threadbare coat stands at the edge of a dusty road, watching his father ride away on a fine horse, smiling, charming, leaving behind empty promises and broken trust. That boy would one day control more wealth than any human being in history. But the path wasn't about luck or shortcuts. It was about choices made in silence, pennies counted in the dark, and a quiet determination to build something that would last. Stay with me, my friend. This is the remarkable journey of John D. Rockefeller. John Davison Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1839, in a humble farming town called Richest, New York. Life at home was far from stable. His father, William Avery Rockefeller, known in some circles as Big Bill, was often gone for months at a time. He presented himself as a traveling doctor, selling colorful tonics in small glass bottles that promised to cure everything from aches to weakness. People trusted him, handed over hard-earned coins, and watched him ride to the next town. But those bottles held little more than colored water. Big Bill lived by schemes, lending money at punishing rates and hoping borrowers would fail so he could claim their land. He even kept a secret second family his wife and children knew nothing about. In one revealing moment, he admitted he would cheat his own sons whenever he could, believing it would make them sharper. Chaos followed him like a shadow. John's mother, Eliza, stood in sharp contrast. A deeply religious woman of unwavering principle, she raised the children largely on her own with very little money. She taught them the value of honesty, the importance of hard work, and the discipline of saving every single penny. She emphasized faith, frugality, and never wasting what little they had. Young John absorbed these lessons deeply. He watched his father's unpredictable world of deception and silently chose another path, one rooted in order, integrity, and control. The family moved several times, New York to Ohio, always living modestly in small, drafty homes with simple meals. John never complained. Even as a child, he was thoughtful and meticulous, especially with money. He learned early that small, consistent actions could create stability where chaos once ruled. At just 16, John left home and walked the streets of Cleveland, Ohio, knocking on doors in search of opportunity. Week after week, rejection followed. But he persisted. On September 26, 1855, he finally secured a position as a bookkeeper at a small trading firm called Hewitt & Tuttle. His wage? 50 cents a day. That date became sacred to him. For the rest of his long life, even after amassing unimaginable fortune, he quietly celebrated Job Day, the moment his real life began. John threw himself into the work. It wasn't glamorous, recording every transaction, every dollar in and every dollar out, but he found peace in its precision. Numbers didn't lie. They offered the reliability his father's world never had. He purchased a small red notebook and began recording every penny he earned, spent, saved, or donated to his church. He called it Ledger A. That humble book traveled with him through decades of success. Even as an elderly man of vast wealth, he kept it protected like a treasured heirloom, often saying it taught him the true value of a single dollar, and that lesson would echo across history. For several years, John worked in the trading business, dealing in grain, meat, and other goods. He saved diligently, invested thoughtfully, and lived without flash or luxury. While others chased excitement, he attended church and studied his accounts. Then, in 1859, the world shifted. In Pennsylvania, Edwin Drake drilled the first successful oil well, and a thick, dark liquid, soon called black gold, gushed from the earth. Oil could be refined into kerosene, bringing light to homes that had once gone dark at sunset. Families could now gather in the warm glow of lamps, reading, talking, and working late into the evening. Demand exploded. Boomtowns sprang up almost overnight. Fortunes appeared and vanished just as quickly in the risky, rough world of drilling. John observed carefully. He saw the wild gambles drillers took, pouring money into holes in the ground with no guarantee of success. That wasn't his way. Instead of drilling, he chose refining, turning raw oil into usable products with steady, repeatable efficiency. In 1863, he and a partner opened their first refinery in Cleveland. It was modest, but John ran it with the same careful eye he developed with his red ledger. He tracked every cost, eliminated waste, and even found uses for byproducts others discarded. His operation became more efficient than the competition. By 1870, he had founded Standard Oil. Over the following years, through relentless focus on efficiency, smart partnerships with railroads, and strategic decisions, Standard Oil grew dramatically. The company achieved something unprecedented: control over a vast portion of American oil refining. Competitors faced tough choices in a rapidly changing industry. Many sold their operations, others struggled. By the 1880s, Standard Oil handled around 90% of the nation's refining capacity. Nearly every drop of kerosene lighting American homes and powering industry passed through this network. John D. Rockefeller became the wealthiest individual the world had ever seen. Adjusted for today's economy, his fortune reached estimates between $300 and $400 billion. Yet his personal life remained remarkably simple. He lived in modest homes, wore plain dark suits, ate straightforward meals, and attended church every Sunday. The boy with the red notebook never disappeared. Great success often invites scrutiny. In the early 1900s, journalist Ida Tarbell published a detailed series exposing aggressive business practices from earlier decades. Public opinion turned sharply against him. Investigations followed, and in 1911 the U.S. Supreme Court ordered Standard Oil broken into 34 separate companies. Many expected this to diminish Rockefeller's influence. Instead, as an owner of shares in the new entities, which later became major companies like Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron, his wealth actually grew further as they flourished independently. Something deeper had already begun shifting within him. Even in his early days, John had given generously to his church from his first modest paychecks. He had helped establish the University of Chicago and the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, now Rockefeller University, a world-leading center for science. With guidance from trusted advisor Frederick Gates, he expanded his philanthropy dramatically. He approached giving with the same strategic precision he had used in business, focusing on education, science, and public health on a global scale. Through the Rockefeller Foundation and other efforts, he supported breakthroughs in medicine that saved countless lives and advanced knowledge worldwide. In his lifetime, he donated more than $500 million, an enormous sum equivalent to many billions today. He often reflected that the ability to create wealth was a gift to be used for the benefit of humanity. In his later years, Rockefeller enjoyed quiet pleasures, playing golf, attending services faithfully, and carrying dimes in his pocket to hand to children and strangers he met, offering a small smile and a kind word. The man once at the center of industrial transformation lived to see horses give way to automobiles, oil lamps replaced by electric lights, and a young nation grow into a global force. He passed away on May 23, 1937, at the age of 97, having outlived most of his contemporaries. My friend, John D. Rockefeller's story carries powerful lessons. From his father, he learned the pain of instability and the importance of rising above it. From his mother, he embraced discipline, honesty, and stewardship. He built his empire through patience, meticulous attention to detail, and a commitment to efficiency that transformed an entire industry. Yet perhaps his greatest achievement came later, learning that true fulfillment often lies in what we give away. He spent the first half of his life creating extraordinary value and the second half sharing it generously. That balance brought him deep satisfaction. And here's where his story meets yours. Every small step you take, every word you learn, every habit you build, every effort you record in your own ledger matters. You may start with very little, just as he did with 50 cents a day and a simple notebook. But consistent, disciplined action compounds over time in ways you can hardly imagine. You are writing your own story right now. Keep showing up. Keep learning. Keep building with integrity and purpose. The same principles that carried a boy from a troubled home to extraordinary heights are available to you. What part of Rockefeller's journey touched you most deeply? The quiet discipline of the red notebook, the power of choosing a better path, or the grace of generous giving in later years? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this remind us of the incredible potential within each of us when we choose order over chaos and contribution over mere accumulation. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next story. Take care, my friend.